I don't like waste, burning things that can be put to use, so I just thought that we could do something with the old tree, that it was probably about 100 years old. So we got this fella to come up and have a look to see what we could carve out of it, and we could get an eagle out of it, so hence we got an eagle out of it. And I thought a naked man on the other side would have looked good, but we haven't quite advanced that far yet.
We kept arguing about the nakedness.
Yeah.
Woman or man.
Man, I think a man would be ideal.
Hello, I'm Ian Rathjen. I lived in Colbinabbin most of my life. My great-grandfather came out here from the goldfields in Bendigo in 1856, 1857. He had a small farm. There was 3 settlers came out in the original settlement in Colbinabbin, which was on the side of the hill here. Our family's been here ever since.
Hi, I'm Lynn Rathjen. I've lived here for 29 years and not quite a local yet.
We have 840 acres here. It's in 2 halves, basically, one side of the hill and the other side of the hill. The other side of the hill I bought with my brother in 1970, and then Lynn and I bought this in 94. We met on the 18th of December 1978, set up as a blind date, and we're still going, so it's a little bit lucky. We got married and lived here for probably 3 or 4 years in our first house, and then with the advent of a drought and buying property and struggling a bit financially, we thought we'd go milking cows, so we went share farming. My uncle gave me the opportunity to buy this farm and house in 94. The house wasn't lived in for 28 years, so it was a fairly extensive renovation job. It took about 6 months to renovate, and then we moved in, on our wedding anniversary, 27th of June, 95. I planted my own nursery bed, and we did 14,000 cuttings in a nursery bed. And then we planted that out in the October after we'd moved into the house. I just wanted to grow the best grapes I could, and I thought if I did that I'd find a home for them and I'd be able to make some money. We were happy growing grapes and selling grapes, and then in 99 we had a few grapes left over from our contract, and we thought, oh well, I rang up a friend and he said bring them down, we can make the wine here. We made the wine and I was happily giving it away, and we were drinking it, weren't we?
Yeah, we were, happily.
Yeah,
yes.
Very happily drinking it. A gentleman came in one day, he'd asked me a question, have I got any wine? And I said, oh yes, I've got a bit of wine. We showed him the wine we had, a little bit in barrel and a little bit in bottle, and he proceeded to try and buy the wine off us. Previous to that, we'd had the eagle carved out at the front, the tree at the front gate. So he just asked us off the cuff if we had any eagles around here, and I said, oh yes, you hear a few whistle past every now and then. And he said that would be a great name for the label, Whistling Eagle. So that is how the name started. So
yeah.
Instantly I said Whistling Eagle, Eagle's Blood Shiraz, and that stuck. We started with 70 dozen, was our first vintage in 99, and as I said, I was happy giving that away and drinking it myself, and that was probably the happiest time of my life. When I had to start paying for bills, it all became a little bit too complicated, and then the real challenge came in to make it pay. Well, it's probably only paid for itself, barely, the wine industry, my wine business, but
we're happy.
It's getting better.
But we're happy. Happy doing it.
Eventually I talked to my wife into allowing me enough funds to build a winery. So this is as far as we've come. Now, I don't ever intend to make any more barrels than we have behind us. And we were one of the first ones to plant in this district back again. 94, 95 we planted. We have a pretty minimalist approach here. We try to keep our yields really low so that the tax on the land is not so great.
We do like to keep the good bugs and going, and just to cut down our sprays and our watering and fertiliser. Yeah, like nature, as hence the tree not being burnt down the front gateway. I guess that's part of what we are.
We've had an interesting life, we think. We've got 2 children, and they both still talk to us. Colbinabbin itself is just a great place to bring up kids. It's one of the very few places where everybody knows everybody, and certainly if your kids do something wrong, you'll hear about it from one way or the other, but just a very strong community.
Yeah, a community that when the chips are down, that they'll they'll get in and help without interfering. I love my family, the environment I live in with my house, my garden, the dirt, the extended family, and I'm passionate about Colbinabbin and the people within it. And my husband, of course.
This place here, it's probably the first house that Lynn and I have owned together. The fact that we had to renovate it extensively, so we really have put our stamp on it. It's just a lovely warm house, and most people that come into it are really happy to be in there. I love the farm, I love farming, I love growing grapes, and I love making wine, and I also love drinking it. But of course all that without family is not worth much at all, so the fact that the family are here makes it all the more important, and I just love the place.